Hello YouTube. I am Stijn Kuipers from This Is Not Rocket Science, and today we are launching our new Geometric Anomaly synthesizer voice. Whee! Yay! So later this evening we'll have a small party here in Amsterdam to celebrate with anyone who wants to try one. But cheese, with wine, with beer, with all the usual Dutch amenities for a little party. But right now, I will slowly explain what this thing is, and if anyone has any requests of stuff they want me to try on this thing, please let us know in the chat. So yeah, where shall we start? I think this needs a tiny bit of history.
Maybe wait for a minute. It's exactly 7.
Oh, okay. Well, how about we make some music with this for the background? Welcome viewer. We have one concurrent viewer. So yeah. I think we should just start this. Yeah. So, what is this thing? Why is this thing? And what can you make it do? The geometric anomaly is actually a bit of an accident. It's as some of you may know, This Is Not Rocket Science hosts a few times a year a modular synthesizer party in Ruigoord. It's called Clubsynth. Next one is in a few weeks during Landduel Festival. And during these events, we invite 5 other acts and ourselves to come on stage with way too many synthesizers and play live, and just basically have a nice dance party. A lot of the modular stuff that we see is generally introspective and sort of listening like a concert. So we really wanted to have a party where you're there to dance and everything is made live. And during our own concert, I noticed that I was not using our phoenixes because, a phoenix is rather big, and to make a bunch of voices in a small space, I would have to bring a whole bunch of phoenixes. So what I ended up using was our old rectangular thing synthesizer voice. And the rectangular thing is, basically it was my homework assignment to myself to figure out if we could make phoenixes at all. Like we had never manufactured anything analog yet, so I set out to make a one of each type device that had some oscillators, some filters, some envelopes. Basically full subtractive synthesizer minus the LFOs, because the LFOs we already had in the shape of the wobbler back then. We still do, of course. But yeah, rectangular thing is about 7 years old, I think, and we have learned a lot in the meantime. Of course, we've developed and manufactured the Phoenix, and put a lot of analog trickery in there that I wasn't aware of, but when I make the original rectangular thing. So for the next concert, I decided for my own birthday to gift myself an upgraded rectangular thing with some of the lessons from the Phoenix integrated, and even some new things that haven't ended up in the Phoenix yet, in a new synth voice. So I could bring 3 of these units on stage with me to have some proper bass lines and nice trance leads and everything I would want to have on stage. Yeah, Priscilla is asking me behind the scenes here. Give me the card. I get to talk about the sound. Yes. Here. We'll get there in a second. So the sounds I want on such a concert are usually the raw bass lines, big trance leads, big dubstep room filling things, um, and well, of course, when we get to the whole features of this thing, I uh, I put everything in there to do exactly that. Um, but back to the original story, we I made this thing. I was going to make one. We were going to Super Booth. We had nothing new except this shiny new thing in my rack. So Priscilla decided that this was cool enough to make a few anyway, and then well, make maybe 10, and then release it. And then Sonic State came by and gave us an award for it. And then we decided to ramp it up slightly more. So now we have made 50 units of this. We're selling 50 units of this, and after that, we're gifting the boards and the schematics to the world, so everybody can build their own. What?
This is horrible.
Wow!
Okay. Can I just?
Priscilla is going to take over here.
Can I just? Can I? Yeah. So can I tell? This is here. Can I tell the same story from a different perspective? So it's about the sounds that you want to take on stage. It's about the sounds that you love. It's about the sounds that analog does really well, because usually you're, very digital and software, but some things analog just does better. And making that for yourself for your birthday to play with it, you make it all sound like it was like just homework assignments and horrible things happening, and now you're stuck with it, and that is not true. We took it with us. Yes, we took it with us to Super Booth because we didn't have anything else that was new. We only had things that we've already made. And when you showed it online to other people, they responded really positively. So just bring it. Let's just have people play with it, and we'll see what it does. And then we got an award, which is amazing. We weren't expecting an award because when are you ever expecting an award? But also, this is the first time they do this. So, hooray! Out of over 200 brands at Super Booth, we actually got Best Modular for the Geometric Anomaly. Fantastic. Something that you built for yourself, which is, I guess, why it works so well, because it's something that you just really want to have. Yeah, and it resonates with people online, and apparently also with Sonic State. Huh? You want to try again and just be a bit less? Oh, I have to do these things, and these things are horrible, because they're not. No, okay.
Ha! No, they're definitely not. I love this thing. Every day I try it, it turns out to be capable of making all the noises I grew up with. Uh, Hopefully, I can make a few later on without any YouTube copyright strikes, because it's that close. No. So yeah, what is the geometric anomaly? Let's just go towards the sounds. It is in its basis, it's a subtractive synthesizer. You start making some sounds with oscillators, of which it has two oscillators with many outputs, and those two go to two different filters, slightly weird filters, but yet filters nonetheless. Then those filters get controlled by the modulation envelope or the external cutoff inputs, and the result goes through a VCA. You also get the full mix of all the oscillators without the filters through an independent VCA on the output, or if you want to have something extra raw going on, or maybe you want to combine the filtered with the unfiltered VCA for some weird phasing effects. But that's the basic shape of it. So you get oscillator 1, oscillator 2, two filters, two envelopes, two VCAs. Now, if I would just have to sort of cross off the things of a subtractive synthesizer, this would be very boring. So let's just assume everybody has had the standard two oscillator, one filter, and an envelope thing somewhere in their past. Where things get nicer is that these oscillators, well, there's three basic waveforms for each of them. So sawtooth, triangle, and pulse wave. You can mix them in. Pulse wave has pulse width modulation. Bottom side same. There's a sawtooth, there's a triangle, there's a pulse wave, again with its own pulse width modulation. But then there's this mysterious fourth wave, and the fourth wave on the top has a question mark, and the one at the bottom has an exclamation mark. And there's a tiny toggle switch to the side, and I don't really know. I don't think I can zoom in any further than this. Yeah, there's two options, and the middle one is off. If you want to sort of disable this one, you can put it to the middle. But if you put it to the top, it becomes a sub oscillator. There's 1 octave lower, pulse wave output, no pulse width modulation. And if you go put it to bottom position, you get what we have dubbed the Rambler wave, which is a very strange compound waveform, and that it uses the sub oscillator to switch between oscillator 1 and oscillator 2. So when the sub oscillator would have been up, it would select this sawtooth, and if this sub oscillator is down, it will give you the other sawtooth, which is a very strange harmonic way. Oh, it's almost hard sync, but you have sort of tiny slices of wave that that harmonically get switched out. So hopefully I'll be able to make that clear in some demos soon. Then the other side has the same thing, but instead of the sawtooth waves, it uses the pulse waves. And with the independent pulse wave modulation, you can get really, really big sounds. So I think I should just make some sounds with this. Is there anyone in the chat yet?
Yep.
Ha! Hooray! Welcome, people. Anyone we know?
Hello, Cisco. Void 101.
Hello, Void 101. Hello, Cisco.
And Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. Yeah, let's press play on this. Well, I'll make an empty pattern. Press play. So let's start very simple, just one sawtooth, filters open, no resonance, bit release, pitch envelope is currently the modulation envelope is going. Pitch envelope, so pitch envelope off. Let's make a bit more interesting melody out of this. Okay. First filter, basic low pass. Envelope can be routed to the filter as well. It can be extremely snappy. There's a lot of resonance. Of course, this works really nice if you have an external distortion. You can do all those really screaming 303 type basses with these with the high resonance. But still only one waveform. Let's dial the resonance back down and try a sub oscillator. So let's open the filter. On its own, it's just a pulse wave and an octave lower. It's compare it to the actual pulse wave. So octave higher, octave lower. And then the normal pulse wave has pulse width modulation. And the sub-oscillator doesn't. If you combine them, you can already hear the very big, almost hypersaw type of hyperpulse type basses you get by having a combined sub-oscillator and pulse width modulation, pulse width modulated one pulse, which get even better if you combine it with the second oscillator. So let's now also involve the second oscillator here. First let's put them in tune. Maybe a fifth above. Let's see what this Rambler wave can do. They're now a fifth detuned. Now only opening the Rambler wave switches very fast between the two. Let's try this one a bit higher. Stacking two waves, but they're quite rich compared to if you would just have normally stacked them without this sub-oscillator switching thing going on. So now we have two of the Rambler oscillators. One of them is sawtooths, and the other one is pulse waves. And compare this with what happens if I just have two sawtooths. And now the Rambler version. Same with the pulse waves. Of course, things get weirder when you start to do even more modulation between them. So let's see what else it has between the two oscillators. Like there's this cross modulation section here. The cross modulation is basically feeding either the saw or the saw or the triangle into the FM inputs of the bottom oscillator. So if I let's make something simpler to listen to. If I now set the modulation source to triangle, so it goes from triangle to triangle. Asking things Thanks, Chris. The Blinky Discord on the right. So let's see. So now I have used some cross modulation, some sync, some of the Rambler stuff, and I've only touched a low pass filter so far, and of course, well, playing with the envelopes, but envelopes are sort of bog standard things. There's not a lot to say about envelopes, except you also get envelope outputs if you want to do something with them. What is next? Another fun thing. No, the cross mod depth is not CVable. However, you can set something external, because there is a pitch mod input. You could use an external VCA to do some cross mod that way. But no, there's no extra CV inputs left. Hello, game night. Any other questions? And the blinky thing? Yay. Okay, so where were we? So we have modulation, hard sync, and without hard sync, of course, it's automatically detuned again. Let's go to another one of my main new things in this unit compared to the original rectangular thing. I added some glide. There's hard to read this label. Bottom left is glide, and then there's tracking. The tracking switches allow you to set if the oscillators are following the pitch directly, or if they are glided, or if they are completely independent from the incoming CV. So I'll set up a quick, well, sort of melody that just jumps some octaves. Okay, we have something that it's a small melody. Now I set the tracking. It's now on the left. It's just tracking straight. Now I add the glide. And I open the knob. Tracking for both oscillators is independent, so you can have one oscillator have the glide and the other one is sort of following behind, which is something I really wanted to try with hard sync. So let's set that one up. So first I make a hard sync sounds. Glide and one is direct. So now they're both tracking the same. Now they're independent. asking how many HP the module is. It's 36. Like our usual size is 12, so this is 3 times a Tuesday. It's big, but it's a lot of modules in one. So it's 2 oscillators, 2 envelopes, 2 filters, and 2 VCAs. So a bunch of stuff in 36 HP. So yeah, are there any other questions or requests already?
Colin just dropped in.
Hello, Colin.
So he's like, what am I looking at?
Well, it's an anomaly. It's a synth voice.
Complex oscillator. Is this a complex oscillator?
It's
An oscillator complex.
it's 2 very simple oscillators, but with some complex cross modulation going on. I mean, envelopes and filters. But yeah,
One for volume, one
for modulation, 1 for volume, 1 for modulation. If you talk back there, please, people cannot hear. Yeah, and so I have to repeat you.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, you could see it as a complex oscillator inside the synth voice. It's a medium complexity. I always feel it's a weird term, complex oscillator. Like if somebody can explain to me what the complexity of it is, maybe it's a complex of oscillators. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Oh yeah. So what else is there? So we have the 2 oscillators that are combined. We have the glide going in there, the independent glide. There's the untracked mode for the second oscillator, so you can use it as a drone thing to combine with oscillator 1. But then we go into the filter section, which also has some oddities. First of all, it has a standard low-pass filter. Let's see if I can just set up another melody. So the bottom one is the standard ladder low pass. Very Moog-like. It does suffer from the same bass kill if you have a lot of resonance. You also get negative envelopes if you want. But that's the normal low pass. So you always have a normal low pass at the end of the anomaly to sort of tame whatever sound you've come up with. The filter before, however, I need to explain a bit before I let everybody hear that. It's a state variable filter, which is it's a weird way of converting a mathematical formula describing a filter into another piece of electronics. There's lots of stuff written about it. Go look it up. But side effect of that is that you can sort of interact with these variables that are in there in ways that are not entirely obvious. In this case, Laurie for the Phoenix converted it, so instead of having one filter that has a bunch of outputs, like a high pass and low pass and a band pass output, you get inputs that do that. So you, if you have a sound and you put it in a low pass input, the result will be low pass, but you can at the same time in the same filter also use the high pass input, and then the cutoff becomes a sort of split point. Like everything below will be filtered for one side and everything above will be filtered for the other input. And with a bunch of switches that are here, you can select which of the inputs get used for both oscillators. So oscillator 1 is now going to the low pass input of the filter, and oscillator 2 I can set to the high pass input. More messages. So you have low pass and high pass filter set up, two different things. So let's. I've now set both sides to a sawtooth. One is going to the low pass, one is going to the high pass. Bottom filter just open. Let's play something. So now we hear oscillator 1, and if I go down, I hear oscillator 2, which is still set to hard sync. So let's just play something high up. So now oscillator 2 is high passed away, and oscillator 1 is just passed through the low pass, and this way oscillator 1 is low passed all the way away, and we only hear oscillator 2. And then of course the resonance itself is sits at the cutoff frequencies. And as I said before, you still have a lot of filter to tame all that. Question.
I think the answer to this is nothing.
How much is digital? Nothing. It's completely analog. If I had to search for something, the gate is on or off. That might be considered digital, but other than that, no. No, everything is completely analog in this. It's mostly based around Curtis oscillators, a whole bunch of discrete filters and Curtis envelopes, and then a whole bunch of transistors, resistors, analog switches and muxes, and yeah, switches, pots, transistor. I hope that answers the thing. So yeah, we have the weird crossfader filter setup, and because, well, analog switching logic basically, you can select each oscillator if it goes to the high input or the low input of this SVF filter. And for the high input, you can choose if that high input is going to be a high pass or a band pass. That this seemed by far the most logical thing to be doing for live usage. Toggling from low to high is very easy to hit. If you have to sort of live on stage hit the middle switch somewhere, that's always difficult. So I try to avoid that where possible, but there are still some options that also have a middle option. Usually middle is off, and the sides are something extreme. So yeah, I think that's basically the whole feature set of the thing. Did we miss any inputs? Well, there's an external FM inputs that you can use for, let's see, I have my tiny LFO flaggy here. Let's set it. Let's start with just a pulse. LFO. So we're listening to a single pulse being pulse width modulated by a wobbler LFO, tiny LFO on a patch cable. Without the LFO, it's just standing still. With the LFO, and you can use the same LFO for pitch. Let's see. So there's linear or exponential FM on here. Now it's on exponential. slightly different vibe to it. There's all kinds of technical reasons why it's different, but just choose the one you like most. And of course, you can also modulate all the other usual things like filters. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Another question. The insert at the bottom. Let's stop this one. There's 2 insert points for the SVF. So as I said before, there's 2 inputs to the SVF: the high input and the low input. And for the high input, you can select if it goes to bandpass or high pass inside the filter. But after you've sent this to either high or low, that signal comes out of this jack on the bottom here. If I have 2 patch cables, I can also show. 1 second. So I'll take the low pass side here. So wait, let's first hear some tiny melody. Okay, tiny melody. I've set both of them to the low pass side of the SVF. So if I want to insert something, as soon as I put something in here, sound stops, because now whatever I put in here is what's coming to the low pass side. If I go to the high pass side here, that has no insert yet, so that's still routed through. Let's do the low pass side first. So if I put the cable, other side of the cable there, it's just connected again. But let's do something weird with this. Like I have, well, in the frame here, I have Making Sound Machines personality prototype. This is a early prototype of what became the whole FARP filter series. So I have here, well, there's a kick distortion. I'm not sure which FARP that ended up being, but let's see. So now the low pass bit is being distorted, while the high pass bit is unaffected by this. Or I can do something wilder, like a full delay. Slightly out of frame is a white rabbit. So the low pass bit is now massively feedbacked and the high pass bit isn't. It's hard to sync them. Or do the reverse. The high pass gets the white rabbit treatment, and the low pass doesn't. You can do all kinds of fancy subtractive synthesizer magic in there. So I really, this is sort of a last minute decision to include these both for both filter inputs, and I'm really happy with it because now, you just heard what it can do. Any other questions? No questions. Because then, I think we have the whole thing. So just play with it then. Play with it a bit. Yeah. Anyone wants to hear anything in particular? You ask. So how are we on time? Okay, let's do a little bit of jamming here then. Slightly down on frame here. I also have a Bob and Steve that's in the signal path. Of course, it's a bit strange to have that because it's not officially out yet, but it's. I almost cannot not use it. It's my favorite. Welcome Steve then. We'll add some Steve. So let's make some better pattern for this. Yeah, ask what is weird. I mean, it's oscillators. You can make them all kinds of stuff. Something baseline. Thumping. Okay. I hear a request for thumping basslines. Well, funny you should ask.
Since you asked.
I think this is it for us for today. Hooray! Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope some of you will join the actual party later today. Other than that, see you at Dutch Modular Fest, I guess.
Yes, or at Landuville.
Or at Landuville. Yeah, come dance with us at Clubsynth.